Hey, I have such a treat for you today. I'm going to introduce you to my story coach, Bo Eason. He has a new book, and he's going to tell you why story is the most important thing you can have. Stay tuned. So, Bo, great job today.
Thanks.
And, you know, the biggest compliment I ever get, I got to speak recently. I'll start with the story. I got to speak recently in San Diego in front of like an audience of about 400 female health and fitness coaches. And I told my story and did my thing, and I got off the stage, and this girl I'd never met before goes, "Do you work with Bo Eason?" And for me, it was the greatest compliment. I was like, yes, I do.
Why do we love being around dangerous people who can handle business? We love it.
So what do you think it is about your style, the people that are so attracted to you?
Yeah.
What makes you stand apart is that you hear all the time, tell your story,
Yeah.
but I don't think people know how to do it well. Why not?
No, I know. Yeah, you're right. I think the one thing that distinguishes the people that I've worked with is they have a sense of freedom on stage. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to paint by the numbers.
Sure.
And I think most like speaking coaches and probably story coaches try to get them to be something they're not, when all the goods they already have it inside them. And if you're a great coach, all you're doing is looking for those true moments, and you're going, that's you, that's who you are, and you keep encouraging that out of them. That's what most coaches don't do. They're just bad at it.
Do you think they're all trying to put them in one cookie cutter?
Yes.
Like you mentioned a little bit on stage today, like here's where your hands go on this point. And so maybe somebody like myself that is more charismatic, has a bit of a theater background, you were really able to just to pull that and say, let's more of that, Jimmy.
I'll do a quick little experiment with you really quick. We'll find your story really quick, okay?
You're gonna help them like just be more of what's them.
That's right, because look, any great coach, and I don't care what the subject matter is, any great coach, like an athletic coach, is only trying to free up the athlete, because freedom is where the full expression comes out.
Right.
If you're training somebody to be fast, you've got to free them up. Otherwise, they're running all stiff, and they're trying to do what the coach is trying to get them to do,
right?
Which is wrong.
Yeah.
You've got to find the freedom, and that's what the people like you. We find your freedom. Now you blow up because you're free. Your body tells a story. Your body has freedom on a football field, but on a stage it has zero freedom. You're walking around like you have no power at all. Like you've never achieved anything in your life. Like you don't even stand for your story. In fact, you're just up there apologizing for yourself day in and day out. And I'm not going to put the audience through that bullshit. And now you can go anywhere and do anything because you're free.
When that was funny, we'll take the time I was on stage in San Diego, there was a couch and a chair on stage, and you're always talking about know your space.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love the fact that you have us do the homework so often, and then you kind of get on stage and then you forget about it. And the biggest thing I ever learned from you was about co-creating with the audience.
Yeah.
And so coming from a theater background, you know, like if you go into an audition, you're told, don't look at the auditors in the eye, you're looking over their head. And so what I learned from you was go find somebody and lock in immediately, and it calms you and it calms them. And all of a sudden, that's where the magic happens. So there was this part where like I laid on the couch and I jumped behind a chair. I'd never done that before, so it was like I told the story for the first time.
That stuff doesn't work. She looks good.
But, you know, as somebody who's like just your play alone, how many times did you say that you've done Run of the Litter?
I've performed it 1,300 times.
But you had to find ways to make that the first time you told that story every night.
Yeah, that the only way you can is by locking in on somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody who's never heard the story.
Right.
So I know the story, and I've told it 1,300 times, but that person in the audience has never heard it.
Yeah.
And you've got to co-create it, recreate it in real time with an audience member. But the minute you do that, the whole audience, how it occurs to them is they only think you're talking to them.
Right.
Even though you're talking to another person.
Absolutely.
They think it's them. And that's the intimacy that we're missing in most speeches, in most storytelling, in most performances. You have no intimacy with the performer because they didn't even know you're there. They're just giving you a performance that they don't even care if you're there.
Right, because it's like on autopilot for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part I feel as a storyteller, as a speaker, it's the terrifying part.
Yeah.
But it's the fun part, right? It's that you've told this story a million times and you get to that point where you're like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna say or do next. And I always say you have to leave room for where the magic happens.
Yep. You're right. That's the scariest thing is to actually be out there not knowing where you're going to go. All you know you're going to connect. And as soon as you connect to a human being, all of us know what to do.
Yeah.
Because it's a human attribute. We know how to make connections with people. So the minute you give yourself permission to do it, now that's when all the magic happens. That's when all the great stuff happens. Eagles, orcas, great white sharks, all predators. Do you know what we have in common with them?
So as as we see more and more people trying to become a personal brand, trying to create some kind of side hustle or do something online for themselves outside of the corporate world, do you feel like people are getting better at telling stories at all just because everybody's carrying a camera around in their pocket?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like there's still this big gap, they're not sure what they need to do?
I still think they can get a lot better.
Sure.
Because I think most of us think that no one cares about our lot in life, our story.
Sure, that there's no big deal, we're too close to it, right? Yeah,
that's right. Even when I first started telling my story, which, I was an NFL player, so I thought to myself, well, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
That I played in the NFL. Does anyone really care? And it turns out that people do care if you tell them the story of how you got there.
Right.
The struggle of how you got there.
It's always the struggle because you need the conflict.
Right. As human beings, your audiences, your potential audiences are only interested in one thing: struggle. They can give a shit if you climbed Mount Everest if there was no struggle.
And people just want to show the end result, me in front of the car, me in the big house, and nobody cares.
Right, no one
It was
cares.
the same thing when, my 100-pound weight loss story.
Yeah.
When I was just posting fitness videos, people started assuming, oh, Jimmy, you're always fit.
Yep.
So I gained fans, but my business tanked because nobody's like, I can't do what you do. You've always been this way.
Yep.
I had to remind them where I came from.
Yep.
Same thing with speaking.
Yep.
People say, they're super complimentary. And I say, do you realize the very first time I ever auditioned in college, I had my script in hand and I literally had a physical leg twitch that I couldn't control. Yeah. And it's all those hidden hours that we talk about all the time, all those practice hours that people don't realize. Yeah. And you have to remind them where the struggle is, right?
Yeah, and I think what you bring up a great point is most speakers, most people in a coaching position or a training position, we're always talking about how easy it is and how less work, more money. You hear that term all the time.
Yeah.
I think that is not how it occurs for me.
No.
It's not the truth to me. To me, the harder I work, the more I get paid.
Absolutely.
Typically. And I think that's true of most people. Now, there's probably exceptions to the rule.
Right.
But I think we should start talking to people about how much rehearsal it takes and how much practice it does take. Tell them the truth, because look, we're human beings. We know how to work. Mm-hmm. But we've gotten away from like this work being like this noble thing, it's a bad word.
Right.
And I'm just not comfortable with my life in the hands of amateurs. And I am not comfortable with my kids' lives in the hands and the charge of people who think mediocrity is as high as you can possibly go.
We want to avoid it because we want to avoid the pain, but somehow reap the benefits. And I'm like, there is no benefits without the pain and without the struggle. And that's what I love that you do so well. And something I've really tried to adopt is setting that expectation. Yeah. Man, I can get you where you want to go, but we're going to go through some hell, but I'm going to be with you. Yeah. It's not if it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but you're going to have somebody in the foxhole with you.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell me a little bit about, you wrote a book.
Yep.
So now playwright now an author. So what sparked that, and how long has this been in the making?
I know, right? It's it's so funny because I just don't consider myself a writer.
Right.
And as it turns out, I wrote a play.
Right.
And I've written screenplays, and now I wrote a book.
Yeah.
And I still have the hardest time calling myself
an author
or an author. But I met this great agent named Celeste Fine, and I've been offered a lot of book deals, and a lot of people go, well, you should write a book. This has been for years since I wrote the play. And I've always said, I don't know what to write about. Yeah. And do we really need another book?
Right, yeah. There's a book every day coming out from somebody, right?
Yeah, and I talked to her, and she goes, your book is about what you're obsessed about, which is being the best in the world at what you do.
Yeah.
That's the book I want you to write. And I go, I'll write that book.
Right, and then you get excited about it.
Right, yeah.
Right, when somebody like gives you the vision for it, you're like, oh, I can talk all day about that.
I didn't think anyone thought like, I thought I was the only person in the world that was thinking, how do I be the best at this thing?
Right.
It turns out that there's a whole bunch of us out there that are thinking, how can I be the best at this thing? So that's the book. And I, started cranking away, started writing, retraced my steps,
Sure.
and tried to figure out, how did I become the best safety? Or how did I become the best speaker? Or how did I become the best playwright? How did those things come into being?
Right. And there were some of the same skill. There was probably a through line, right?
They're all the same.
Of course.
The principles are the same.
Same thing with me with weight loss and building a business. Like you had to go back and like, how did I get started? Like, and then you see where the parallels are.
That's right.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's the book. It's called "There's No Plan B for Your A Game."
That's so good.
Yeah, and it's because I believe, and I've done this with my kids, and I do it with my clients. I go, look, if you give yourself options, you're going to take the lesser of the options.
Mm-hmm.
If you give yourself an out, if you give yourself plan B, you're going to take plan B.
Absolutely.
So forget about plan A. It ain't working out.
Right.
So that's where we came up with the title, and that's how I've kind of operated my whole life. Like there's no safety net. If I don't come through for myself, I am done.
Wow.
Yeah,
because sometimes you have to put your own back against the wall.
That's right.
Sometimes life does it to you, and sometimes you have to put yourself there and say, hey, there's one way, and that's it. So when does it come out?
It comes out September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Yeah, so we're kind of in a pre-launch where people can get it before they can get the book.
Okay.
We're sending them chapters,
awesome,
bonus chapters and different bonuses for people that buy certain numbers of books. We've been doing that, and but it actually comes out September 3rd. And we're doing a whole campaign.
That's great.
It's going to be really exciting.
Great. And so what we'll do here with the videos, we'll link up how people can get the book early and all the bonuses and stuff.
Good. Okay.
And we'll put that in the description here on this video, and we'll make sure. But I just want you to know what a huge impact you've had on my life, because I was talking to somebody earlier about this. The very first time I ever heard you speak was literally at this event with Shalene, and I always thought I was this weird unicorn. I was like, I was this huge sports fan, I was obsessed with football growing up, but I was this musical theater kid that was on stage, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just one of me. And the day I saw you speak, I was like, oh, there's another unicorn. And it was just like, there's my guy, because he's gonna get me. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for just letting me know I'm not alone in this thing and making me better at this as well. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Good. Thanks.
Take care.
Yep.
Awesome.